Alright, this one's for all the gamers out there, and while you're gaming, don't get up. Just enjoy the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen meals and a variety of options right to your door. Because sometimes you don't have time to cook a home-cooked meal. Or you just don't want to do those dishes afterwards. Look, I get it. Respect. That's why I bring you Factor. With Factor, you get a tasty hot meal ready in about 2 minutes, and you never even had to leave your house. 2 minutes, that's a fraction of the time it takes to cook the simplest of meals. And with holiday shopping, traffic madness in full swing from now till the end of the month, yeah, now's a good time to stay at home. Let the meal come to you. And Factor's expanding the experience with 100+ rotating weekly options, double the seafood and high protein meals, and Factor always understands that life is as life does. Sometimes schedules, they change. You can change your order out, pause, reschedule meals. I appreciate that. And 'tis the season, Factor makes a solid gift too. So head to factor75.com or click the link below or scan the QR code, use code JOHNSFB50, and new customers get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. And now, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I was such a fan of the first one. Hope this one's good. As for that last line in the intro, in the words of Homer Simpson, by the way, I was being sarcastic. So Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is the sequel to the surprise Blumhouse smash hit of 2023, Five Nights at Freddy's. This time around, the original Five Nights at Freddy's restaurant before it was franchised houses a secret. A secret that threatens to destroy the world! Or at the very least, a lot of people at a Fazbear Fest, or one guy and his kid's sister, you know, whatever. But is this better than the original? Well, in some ways, yeah. In other ways, I kind of appreciate the original a little more. So word is, as I hear it on the internet, if it's on the internet, it must be true, you know. Supposedly, the screenwriter of Five Nights at Freddy's 2 heard the complaints, heard the critiques for the first film, then reworked the script for the second film. Look, as I was no fan of Five Nights at Freddy's 1, I haven't played the games. I kind of had a mental checkbox in my head, like, okay, before the second movie comes out, I should play the games. I still haven't done that. Replaying Mass Effect, though, not my first replay through. I just love those games. So this movie concentrates more on Vanessa, the daughter of Matthew Lillard's character from the previous film. Josh Hutcherson is in it. It's one of the things I kind of appreciate the first movie more now. At least his character in the first film did have more of an arc to him. This movie, he's kind of there. It's like this movie wants to revolve around that Vanessa character, but Josh Hutcherson's still around because he probably signed a 3-movie deal. So it feels like they're keeping him around without giving him something to do. But in the end, the coolest characters we want to see are the Five Nights at Freddy's animatronic characters. I heard Five Nights at Freddy's the movie described as gateway horror. And it absolutely is. It's rated PG-13 fan service light horror schlock that exists to get the Five Nights at Freddy's fans into more Blumhouse films so they can spring the rated R movies on them when they're old enough to watch them, and hey, now they're fans. There was a satisfying kill in here. You see it coming a mile away. Like, when you first meet this character, you're like, you're gonna die. Because you are a piece of shit. I mean, he's just kind of awful. He's awful to kids, which makes him a different kind of awful. But there are moments in this movie, to be fair, also in the previous film, where things shine through, where I get why fans are loving the fan service thing and why they have a fun time in these movies. There's an eerie atmosphere at times, creepy animatronics that are just unsettling, and hey, they might very well kill some folk. They don't kill a lot of folk, but they might kill some folk. But man, the surface level characters and the dumb decision making throughout, I just can't with these things. But McKenna Grace is in this movie this time around. How is she? She's in the movie long enough to put her in the trailer. And just long enough. Easiest paycheck she ever made, man. I mean, good for her. I feel like marketing can do that with one actor and get away with it. This movie does it with 3. McKenna Grace, you blink and you miss her. Skeet Ulrich is in this movie for just long enough. Long enough for articles to come out talking about how Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard are in a new movie together. Matthew Lillard's in it for about as long. In fact, I think Skeet Ulrich might have more screen time than him. And never in the same scene together, so what's the point? I mean, of course they wouldn't be, but we're dealing with possessed animatronic robot bears, so you never know. I am curious to know how the lore of this movie lines up with the lore of the game at this point. As I understand it, the game takes place in the Chuck E. Cheese from hell the entire time. This movie doesn't. It barely takes place there. But these killer robots find a way to go out there into the world. And in the end, I just didn't find myself caring. This screening had influencers and fans of Five Nights at Freddy's. Everybody, when the credits hit, started cheering and applauding. That's what I'll say about the movie. If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, apparently you'll dig this movie. If you dug the first one, apparently you will dig the second one. If the first one didn't win you over, save your money. This one's not gonna win you over. That's just a fact. If you've moved past the need for gateway horror in your life, what is there for you here? And the fact is, with Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I ran into what I ran into with the first movie. And that was not a gateway to horror, but a gateway to Ambien, my God. I don't know what it is about these movies. I feel like I'm genetically predispositioned. When the first frame comes on, I can feel myself. I'd start to nod away. I'm like, why am I so tired? I don't want to sleep. I have a review to do. But there I was for the first hour. I was just shutting down. Then the movie started to get going at a point, but that's also a point. It takes an hour to feel like it starts, and the movie could have been 15 minutes shorter at least. I mean it too. There were things in this movie pointing to the previous film, and I was like, I have no recollection of that. I imagine 3 will do the same with 2, and I'll have the same reaction. While I'm there going, why am I so tired? Shallow-ass characters, dumb decision-making. Creepy robots are fun, but it's not a scary film. And there are plot holes that make this thing not make sense. And that's it. That could be the review right there. The rest of it's just me talking shit for a few minutes. In ways, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 made me appreciate things about the first movie more. Kind of makes me feel a little conflicted about the whole thing, but let's be honest, I'm just not gonna remember it in T-1 day. Yep. Already forgot, which means I don't have to think about it past the moment this video goes up. I concur, these movies are not made for me, but also I'm not made for them. All right, so Five Nights at Freddy's 2, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or what's a horror video game you'd like to see get a film adaptation? And if there has been an adaptation, it's fair to say you'd like to see that, but a good film adaptation. What happened to that Metal Gear Solid movie? That's just not happening now? But whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.